Thine kingdom come. Are we ruling from light or shadow? Can we do both? Bridged by the awareness it takes to transform systems into sovereignty. This lunar eclipse calls us out to face the inner daemons now rising, challenging the ways we've used greed, overconsumption, and exertion to dim our own radiance, asking us to eliminate and illuminate where power has been surrendered to the external through outdated dogmatic patterns, if we wish to reclaim the kingdom that can only be found within. With compassion, honesty, and aligned actions, we are invited to realize the wisdom in the necessary, albeit at times uncomfortable, sparking of our own inner sacred flame. Are you willing to speak the language of love? It was blinding, literally, entering my room through the window before me, turning the sky white behind it, almost snow-like. It had taken an enormous heart expansion, alongside an everyday annoying common cold, to witness something I have only seen a few times throughout my life. A daemon. Archangel Gabriel, to be precise. Well, at least 95% in my certainty. Based not only on the fact I was moving on to the judgment card I'm creating, but the message in her light that I had agreed to communicate. I knew then this went beyond the shifting I could feel in my throat chakra. The symbolic illuminated shapes seen in my clearing congested third eye. The pain of a possible wisdom tooth extraction and the deep clean of my own mouth. To the hidden fear that had prevented this so far. My own perspective, or rather the inherited view of others I had taken on, in order to deliberately limit the responsibility I felt for external reactions. By looking at a familiar routine being repeated, the cycle of physical dis-ease and disconnection, I could see the lack of boundaries and expectations expressed, now conveniently making me unable to hold space for myself or others. Which, alongside the distractions of outside circumstances, mirroring those closer to home from broken down systems and my own family arrests, have continued to cause projected agency and eliminate the aligned action available all along, in remembrance of capability. The spiritual gangster and lineage of beings I am subsequently encouraged, less than gently, to welcome back rather than question or naively attempt to placate from within. Something we will all be supported to embrace with the upcoming lunar eclipse in March, as we examine any greed we have become part of, be that financially or intuitive insights and lessons taken on as our own, to restore a much-needed balance between consumerism and creativity. With the Sun in Pisces forming an opposition to the Moon in Virgo at 12 degrees, this is the fifth shadow of 7 on such an axis, offering up the opportunity to rebuild our faith by initiating a much-needed work-rest harmony, simply in observing areas of discontent for the places of life that may require moderation and deciding if we are worth it. Highlighting polarities, now is a time to look at our needs, wants, and lacks for what may be hidden beneath them. If we are to get in right relation with ourselves, we must be prepared to admit what a more harmonious, humanitarian approach would look like in our own circumstances, particularly on the day-to-day and spiritual arena, combining rather than conflicting them from within. Precision, logic, work-centered, factual focus, compassion comes from recognizing not only what these aspects have in common, but holistically what is at the center of them all. The bridge, arc, chicana, hollow bone, torus of our own tenacity, where any belief in a different vision becomes the spotlight now needed, our own included. as we redefine how willing we are to become the light we have rediscovered, for some, myself included of late, continuously in our darkest moments. Or remain blinded by it, due to the analytical need to understand ourselves, each other, and the parts of life we may be judgmental towards. Through the restructuring of compassion, we may well find another way to balance the subconscious and logical that, whilst demanding answers beyond the obvious, could also provide them. Focusing on motivation in work and practicality, acceptance and enjoyment in our life may come under some illumination, leading to a greater appreciation of the difference between serving and being in service. Quite simply, through the shift of our own vibrational frequency. There has been time collectively to review things from the expanded horizon needed thanks to the recent Mercury retrograde. The question we currently face is whether we are able to take these inner sights forward and how. Making any crisis of consciousness an offer to explore our emotional needs, especially the more deeper scarcity mindsets that often lead to a feeling of not being enough, over-provision, and external consumption. Ultimately propelling affirmative actions through what could initially feel chaotic. Being an eclipse, we once again do not have all the facts, and it is here the inevitable balance develops beyond clarity or intuition to the knowing of experience, our own in ourselves, gained by walking, embodying the many numerous paths that have led us to where we are, desired or not. Here we can expect situations to extract any necessary wisdom, from frequency light upgrades through to deep cleanses of power and structural removals. An ongoing reality for the months ahead, we are being guided to keep coming full circle to the cycles we find ourselves in. Last year was all about integration. 2026 takes this through to completion, which can only be achieved through our own honesty, observation, and conscious responses. Not by changing them per se, but the energetic resonance we have become within them. Because any as above so below connection in the magician year is irrelevant minus the within or without awareness of where we are uniting from. Instead, we would be better advised to clear up past patterns, particularly around more practical transformations, health routines, and emotional releases. By refining habits and focusing on self-empowerment for the energetic efficiency it has always been. If we wish to avoid resistance, that with the help of Jupiter could be expansive. That being said, any discomfort may support more meaningful movement towards compassion, spiritual flow, acceptance of imperfection, and integrity of the whole, provided we can admit where we require deeper observation and presence with our own processes. Occurring on the 3-3 portal, anything from the gateway beforehand in February is set to ease us into the transitions available. As we individually remember, we are part of the change we seek collectively. Proposing honesty over often grand, unconventional declarations. It will be what we tend to without recognition, or not, as the case may be, that needs to become more focused within our daily routine. A deliberately grounded essence. Over the next 6 months, this eclipse will initiate examination of our craft, discerning how we handle any material and physical conditionings. None more so than with our bodies, the vessel through which any systems are delivered, functional or not, and the very earth we continue to create with or at times take from. To advocate our orientation towards necessary change through careful, overcomplicated, yet simple everyday adjustments. Ruled by Mercury, much like this Magi year, it is the communication of our own application we are now being empowered to interpret. through our own timely translations, the routines that provide structure or restriction, sequences that support or suffocate, relationships that resonate or reiterate, where beneath them all resides the truth we continue to align with, in the shadow-like action-based agreements of them in our lives. Many will receive increased external confirmation, not only of their lineage, but light language. These collective conversations are invitations to seek the winged messenger from within them, not just Mercury's soon forward motion or angelic guidance, but our own decisions now merging from beneath this lunar phase, reminding us each potential without embodiment is merely opinion, bringing forth a less urgent, more stabilizing integrity in all areas of work, health, and financial responsibility. We may find this call to action mirrored on the global stage in a repeat, well-being-based scenario that will illuminate diseases of systems no longer able to provide the care they claim to. However, this will include our own individual practices. The reality is the vibrations of our world have increased in speed. From the Schumann resonance, AI technology, to the downloads of divinity currently occurring, the concern or question this month is to look at how ready we are to receive and work alongside them. Will we be equal? Well, that depends on our own physical upgrades. As the Earth continues to bring more light regarding accumulated concerns, selectivity or conscious compartmentalization will be essential. There is a fine line, a middle road, if you will, between guidance and gossip. Anything no longer sufficient from a soul level will be highlighted this month as a proposition to restore balance. It is wise to note, regardless, this will not long be negotiable through methodical, mentally driven efforts, as we consider how committed we are to a more creative consciousness by dedicating ourselves to the realignment of our own internal religions. This is big. In its emphasis of Jupiter, not only with the Sun, Moon, and Mercury moving towards it, but several other planets gathering in Pisces, ruled by this benevolent planet, we are already seeing the downfall of more spiritual-based leaders, as the world begins to recognize the ascetics that have replaced authenticity. But this isn't an external battle of confrontation alone. If we wish to connect to the force behind the wheel of fortune the next 9 months are related to, we must take accountability for our own guru-like guises, alongside the loop holiness in us they have permitted. Whilst these wider energies will not remove any vital discomposure, this eclipse, the expansive understanding of its influence is here to support openness rather than painful contraction, where the greatest shifts reside, in the innovative inner sight over narrow, overburdened, obsessive, sheer bloody-mindedness. Meaning there is a need to make our world bigger, adding space, experience, range even, to the endless opportunities available, our own included. Recognizing the muses of magic found in the unique aspects of humanity.